When I'm gone and my great grandchildren are around, I will assure you, news content will still be here. People will still hunger for news. It is not going anywhere.
In part one of this interview, Matt Larson of Our-Hometown Incorporated welcomes Pason, Gaddis, and Jim Dickerson of the Florida Weekly Group to discuss a brand new project consisting of mobile touchless displays presenting their news content to readers in various commercial locations, such as doctors' offices, hotels, and airports.
Yeah, why don't you kick us off here? Because I definitely want to talk about the mobile site, the app, any feedback you have for us on that, how it's been received. But what is this project here? I'll go ahead and just play this as you describe it.
Sure. So this is in beta testing right now. This is our touchless e-edition of Florida Weekly with Wi-Fi electronic displays that we will begin installing in merchants that have high volumes of people that congregate in them and wait. Right. You know, what's happened with the pandemic is obviously people are a lot more conscious of the places they're in and the things that they're doing in the places, and certainly the things that they're touching and maybe have been handled with everybody else. And, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out if you go into any airport or hospital or doctor's office or waiting rooms these days that the Florida Weekly touchless displays are a Wi-Fi enabled vertical display that we install in a lobby, one of our distribution outlets.
Okay.
And it will be the front page edition of that particular market that we're serving. And then it'll essentially be a slideshow of articles with a teaser headline, if you will.
Okay.
And then within that, there'll be a QR code that you can actually just go up and scan with your phone. And that will open up either via floridaweekly.com or will open up in the mobile app if you have that installed on your phone. And then we'll be directing them to, certainly install that mobile app. So the goal is maybe you're sitting to get your car serviced. You see this feature story we did this week on the Florida Panther and how they're struggling right now with their migration habits, and you're intrigued by that. You want to read that, we can get you into the Florida Weekly ecosystem via the mobile app or via, just opening up a QR code with a link to the story.
Right. So we're looking at the front page here, but you said there's like another page where it's like an article and that's where the QR code would be?
Yeah, if you look at just some of the sample pages we're experimenting with behind the video there, you'll see story previews.
Right.
And we're encouraging them to download it and read the complete article on their smartphone. And in these particular mock-ups, you don't see it, but the ones that we'll be deploying next month into testing will actually have a QR code that you can just walk by that display and scan with your phone and take you right to that article.
Right. Okay, very cool. Yeah, so I'm immediately thinking, how can other publishers adopt this? Like, what are we looking at in terms of costs? You got to get the monitor and the Wi-Fi set up, right?
Obviously we're putting these in places that already have Wi-Fi.
Right.
You've got the initial investment in the monitor, and these are specialized monitors. If you look in the top left-hand corner, it'll display the time, the current weather outside, and the date.
Right.
There are some other things that you can do within these monitors as well. If it was in an airport, maybe you needed to do a public service announcement on the display. So they're Wi-Fi enabled, and then we will have access to them via a centralized system, in which we've already started working on. The one you see is actually installed in our lobby. And then we can update them with that week's edition.
So you've got this whole system worked out. I was just curious, is there anything that we could do? Could we feed an RSS feed in here to display the full story, or are you already basically doing that?
There's a lot of things when you really start to unpack this that can be done.
Yeah.
There can be breaking news alerts on them.
Very cool.
Say there was an Amber Alert for a missing child, and we get those into our newsroom. This could go out on these displays. We want to be careful, though. The spirit of this is a touchless display. And really what inspired me to start developing this project was I went to a doctor's office the other day just for a routine checkup. And they had essentially removed all of the publications out of the lobby, the magazines and
Right.
things. And
Good point.
because of COVID, and they said, you're going to get a text on your phone and you're going to register everything on your phone via this link. So a text came through. I didn't get handed a clipboard. I didn't get handed some type of tablet. And you would go in and put your health insurance information, and you would put in your medical history and various privacy notices, and everything was done on your phone, and it was completed.
Right.
You submit. So you weren't. It was all interactive, and you weren't touching anything that other folks had touched.
Right.
What we like about this type of thing for the right types of partners is it's still an amenity while people are in your waiting room.
Right.
There's still some great local news and information that they're getting.
Right.
And the business model that we've always had at Florida Weekly is people come across our paper because we're not a subscription paper, we're a pickup paper.
Right.
And people peruse by our paper that maybe didn't plan to read us today, but they saw the headline on the university expansion. They saw the headline on a road widening project. They saw the headline on the panther habitat.
Sure.
They decided to choose to pick up that paper and engage with that content. This is just an extension of that, but it's in a more technologically enhanced way. And certainly the value proposition for us is we hope that they'll download our app and they'll end up in our ecosystem and they'll engage with other pieces of content that we in the future.
Really well put. I love that. Yeah. I mean, it is just the modern version of picking up the paper casually. You didn't plan on it, picking up the app, and that's what you walk away with. It's because we want to be able to present this as something that can be implemented to customers. Pason, what is this system that's powering this? I mean, can you tell us a little more
Yeah,
about
we can. Jim, actually, do you want to comment on that?
It's a web-based interface.
Okay.
Where we're able to upload PDFs to this web platform, and then overnight they populate and they update. So we can change these out anywhere. We could change them out at our offices or remotely anywhere, and then they'll always update to wherever these things are pointing.
Now, is it also, I mean, these are clearly PDF pages, but this one looks more like the homepage of the website.
Yeah, that's like a screen capture. We
Screenshot. Got it.
Do some things like that because it's high enough resolution for the particular monitor to where we'll be able to see it in good resolution. So.
I love it. So now I see what you're saying earlier, Pason, about keeping it touch free, because if you had like a homepage, then you're not going to be able to select an article. But I guess what I was imagining is if we could interface with this web-based platform and feed them the HTML, then maybe like we could show this page automatically without you creating the screenshot. Or
correct.
It could open up an article maybe.
Correct. And I think what you're saying, and for your partners that will be watching this is in the very early stages of development. And we do not have one of these actually in a retail partner yet. We're kind of working through the conceptual aspects of it. When you start to unpack this, technologically speaking, it could be integrated with a partner's website. So the minute something updates on their website, these displays update automatically as well. We all know that technologically speaking, it can be done. So we're trying to figure that out. These displays have a lot of different capabilities too. Some of them have a button at the bottom of them that you can touch, and then it turns into a whiteboard. So say it were in a doctor's office and this was being displayed, and then the doctor wanted to show you how he was going to do a particular medical procedure on the patient.
Right.
He could touch the button with a stylus, draw on the whiteboard.
Right.
And then when that was done, it went back to the publication.
Content.
The biggest thing that we'll be navigating through, of course, is the business saying, well, what's in it for me? Why do I want to do this? And it depends on the type of business. And I think there will be partners where this is a lease arrangement where we're paying to have these displays in that particular business, maybe like an airport, for example.
Right.
I think some relationships will be it's an amenity and it's a clean display, and they want to provide that for the customers. I think
Right.
some of it might be a hybrid model where these displays are in there, but this could be in a car dealership service area, and you would see the local newspaper on there, but then interlaced in between the information may be an oil change special.
Exactly. That's really, I mean, maybe I was being optimistic, but that's originally what I imagined. It's like you're providing this as a service, so it's their content mixed with yours, really.
Exactly. So we're taking care of that for them. So
Right.
it will be a Florida Weekly article on the Panther. It'll be
Right.
a full page ad that's in the paper. Then it'll be an ad for Sam Galloway's Tire and Lube,
Right.
$59.95. And
Right.
then it'll be some more content. And then maybe it's a used car that's on the dealership, and a 2018 Chevy Tahoe with 30,000 miles, and come check it out while you're getting your car service. So we're working on like 3 different partners to beta test this and roll out. One is actually a car dealership. One is an outpatient medical facility, and another one is a hotel. We're in very, very early stage talks with a hotel partner, and more will come in the next couple of weeks, but we've had conversations about the hotel partner having their spa and their restaurant interlaced in among the content, much like right now, if you went to a hotel, maybe get in the elevator and you see a sign for the steakhouse inside that hotel. This would be a little bit cleaner, and obviously if something were to change and it was Mother's Day weekend and they wanted to say enjoy brunch at the hotel steakhouse or whatever it was, we could switch that out on their behalf, along obviously as we're updating the pages. So that is what publishers are going to have to do, is create these partnership agreements where we take on the expense of installing the hardware for them, but then they get some of the real estate to do in real time whatever they need to focus on among their property.
Yeah, I'm just curious, like, what is the minimum viable product here? Like, in terms of the hardware, like, you just need a Wi-Fi capable monitor, and then the software just pretty much takes care of the rest once you make that connection.
Yeah, these are they're a little more expensive in capital than, say, a traditional monitor.
It's a specialized thing. Gotcha.
They're actually a computer is what they are.
Gotcha. Right.
Behind these monitors is a simplistic piece of computer hardware that runs what's on the display. So you're looking at about maybe $2,500 to $3,000 investment in each display, plus some IT fees associated with it. So we estimate, if you're doing a volume arrangement, you can probably get that under $3,000. If you're doing ad hoc one or two with the IT costs associated, you're probably looking at a $3,000 plus or minus investment. And then you're obviously going to want them in an indoor space. You've got power connections that you're going to have to think about, but they work great. And the video that you see of that is actually one that is installed in our lobby that we're testing on.
This reminds me of another thing that I talked about. Mike Blinder is always calling me with these ideas, and one of them had to do with like an outdoor display. Could this maybe work for that, like on billboards, electronic billboards? Does this software have that capability, you think?
I don't think so. These are not what I would say like outdoor friendly, weather friendly. I mean, they're
no, not these devices. Right.
No, the displays are about a 1.5 feet in width by 2.5 feet in length. The outdoor companies, that's a totally different business model. Various city ordinances you've got to deal with. You've got all kinds of permitting things that go into them, and then who owns the real estate. These again are medical facilities, car dealerships, places where you're going to get large amounts of people congregating.
Right.
But in the traditional sense, and I think COVID has just really accelerated this, is that the days of somebody going in a doctor's office and touching, publications that have already been handled by a lot of other people is coming to an end. We still see incredible single-use pickup rates in our printed publications, but the pass-along that we've talked about in the industry for years, the pass-along rate, I think COVID has moved that goalpost much further ahead.
Right.
And this is a better way to engage those folks and get them into your digital ecosystems.
Well, and that's a perfect transition.
First of all, I want to say this is absolutely cutting edge. I mean, I'm really impressed by how this is handled, but I can see as an ex-salesperson for a newspaper, the potential with your special sections, like you said, for your hotels, have like a little travel guide. So what is going on, special events. Have you considered travel agencies? Because that also, you could have destinations for your advertisers. I see you've got your real estate. I mean, maybe they're commuting, trying to look for housing, show them what's available within the market. I mean, there is so much potential that you could do with this. It is absolutely awesome.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Vera. I think we're going to learn a lot more once we get them out into the marketplace and then we move through testing. There are so many different capabilities of this. And you can even integrate even video into some of these. So first pass for us is going to be learning how people engage with them and just doing a lot of studies. I plan to, like, our first area that the display goes in is actually go in field and anonymously sit in these waiting rooms and just kind of be a fly on the wall and see how people interact with them.
Right.
That's how you learn, right? I mean,
Definitely.
Starbucks does that all the time. They go in their coffee shops and they sit there and read a magazine in the corner and learn how people use their facilities and then build on that data. So we're super excited about this. You guys are seeing it first. You're the first
Thank you for sharing.
ones to see this, but it's not anything proprietary where we would have issues. We're trying to help the industry as a whole. As you know, I mean, we were one of the first partners of yours to even get a tablet app created and
Absolutely.
So that's just kind of in our DNA and our culture, but we're really, really excited about this project.